So the first allegation is that the house in Queens that my father purchased almost 30 years ago, somewhere in the mortgage documents, he indicated that I was his wife as opposed to his daughter. But the deed, in fact, says I am his daughter. My father has since passed, and the house has since been sold. Period. Next. There's a house in Virginia that I purchased that I was a co-signer with for my niece. My niece's children, and I wanted to have her home. Mm-hmm. And so I co-signed the home. When I signed the power of attorney, I did it electronically. I wanted my niece to basically sign for me at the closing. At the bottom of the power of attorney, it indicated that I was a resident of Virginia. Prior to that, I had indicated to the mortgage broker in caps, all caps, I am not a resident of Virginia.
You're Tish from Brooklyn.
I'm Tish from Brooklyn. Period. And in the mortgage documents, it indicates whether or not you plan on being a resident of Virginia, and I marked no, no, no. But of course, those were not publicly available. The only public document that's available is the power of attorney, which was not a basis for the mortgage.
When she signed a sworn legal document declaring her intent to make a Virginia home her principal residence, she wasn't alone. Two senior officials from her own office, including her first deputy attorney general, acted as witnesses, raising critical ethical and legal questions about state resources, residency qualifications, and misuse of official authority. Why would she go to probate court and declare that this was Tennessee in common? And if she had just stuck with the I'm married to my father thing, then she wouldn't have to go to probate court. So why would she go to probate court unnecessarily?
We have a great guest tonight. Sam Antar is a forensic accountant who has a very colorful past we'll dig into here in a bit. He is the man that dug all of this up on Letitia James. He's the source of all this information. Sam, thank you so much for joining us here on the set.
Thank you for having me on, sir.
You're a New Yorker. You live right down the street, and this is some fantastic work here. I want to start and get into just the specifics first. Starting with this Virginia property that she claimed as her primary residence while she was, this is Norfolk, Virginia. This is probably a 5-6 hour drive, claiming it's her primary residence while she's the AG of New York. From your report, you say James signed a specific power of attorney declaring her intent to make 604 Sterling Street in Norfolk, Virginia, her principal residence, a legally binding statement that may have automatically vacated her position as New York Attorney General under Public Officers Law 30, a declaration that came just 45 days before she launched her case, her civil fraud case against Donald Trump. Tell us more about what happened in Virginia here.
She purchased a property with a relative. This is in 2023, a few weeks. She closed
2 years ago. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She closed on it right before the Trump trial. And in the filed documents with the county clerk's office, there was a power of attorney that she gave her cousin or niece to close the mortgage.
Yep.
And on the power of attorney, she represented that I intend to use this property as my primary residence. Now, there's two problems with that. The first problem is she lied on a power of attorney. Would anybody really believe that she was going to move to Virginia in the middle of the Trump trial? Second part is there's Section 6 of the mortgage that states that the borrower, meaning her and her niece, have to occupy the property as their primary residence within 60 days. Not one or the other, both.
Wow.
She at least never occupied it. Right. That's
and what was the motivation to do this? Why lie?
Lower interest rates.
Lower interest rates.
I'd call her a petty thief.
A petty thief. This is, this is, when you look at the allegations she made against Trump, is this act worse, better, same?
Well, no. Listen, Trump is not a real felon. I'm a real felon. Okay, so so Trump didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. You don't see anything wrong in the case you made against Trump? You think, obviously, the jury here thought that he did something wrong.
Well, listen.
It seems like what every developer has ever done.
You should have listened to the appellate arguments, because the appellate judges seem to be. It seems like they're going to write an opinion that's going to vacate the entire case.
Yeah. Boom. Okay. Yeah. It's because obviously we were all astounded by what they charged him for that. That penalty was ridiculous. I want to move on here. Let's talk about Brooklyn, New York. This is her actual main residence. She walked out of this house this morning, a townhouse she owns. It's a multifamily home. You discover James has been claiming that her townhouse is a 4-unit dwelling when it actually has 5 units. Why would she do this?
To obtain lower mortgage rates. Again,
Same motivation.
if 1 to 4 units has different underwriting guidelines, and also insurance too, by the way, insurance fraud. Whereas if it's 5 or more units, it's considered a commercial property and also subject to different insurance guidelines.
Right.
She repeatedly lied because there's a certificate of occupancy that states that it's 5 units. And in New York, that rules. And it's unbelievable that that complaints were filed with the Department of Buildings, and they wrote it off as a minor problem, minor error. Where every other landlord in New York, if you pull that stunt, illegal conversion, having a building that's different from the certificate of occupancy, they will fine you. They will make you alter the building.
She's flat out lying on these documents. She didn't deny anything about it. 1983, she takes out a $30,000 loan with her dad. She files it as a husband and wife. She's married to a father. Why?
First of all, that was discovered by Joel Gilbert, not me. I don't want to take credit for anybody's work.
Okay.
All right, that was 1983. What he found was that she bought the house as daughter and father and daughter, and then she, when they did the mortgage, it was husband and wife.
As husband and wife.
Also, you get different underwriting as husband and wife than as you buy it as partners or two family members.
We have
and now this is different from the Brooklyn home. This is a different property. I think it was in Queens.
In Queens, yeah. It was a long time ago. This is 41 years ago, 42 years ago. We have allegations of flying private on taxpayer money, almost $42,000 to places like Martha's Vineyard, Puerto Rico. We have luxury hotels with mischaracterized on official filings. What can you tell us here?
Let's break it down. Between 2021 and 2022, she used private jets to get around, spent $42,000 of taxpayer money. The vendor she spent the money on was called Venture Jets. No other government agency, because the information is out there, back to 2014 ever used Venture Jets or for private jet travel, period.
Yeah.
Then in 2022, when the government stops paying for it, her campaign starts paying for it. Now, let's go back to this stuff that the taxpayers paid for. If you align the payments for the for Venture Jets and those trips, because you don't pay jet travel net 30 days, you pay it COD, cash on delivery.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of those trips align with major campaign events that she was attending. That's a problem.
That's a big. She has a lot of problems here.
Right.
It's unbelievable reporting. We've dug through. I think the bulk of of what you have found. I believe. Real quick before I let you go, you have a past.
Yes.
And tell us how you got so good at what you just did with what you worked on this for 7 months. How'd you get so good at this?
Because I was a criminal for 20 years, and I was very good at doing what I did as a criminal. Morality aside, the FBI saw a talent in me, and they helped me out going forward after the Crazy Eddie case. The FBI taught me things. When I was being investigated, the FBI taught me how investigations are done. All of the beatings that the FBI gave me when I was doing crime made me into a better human being.
That's amazing. And you said you like to figure out puzzles.
I love puzzles. I love numbers. Listen.
Yeah.
I am not the Trump administration. I don't work for the Trump administration. I did this on my own time and my own dime. And I don't give a damn what Trump does.
Yep.
I will hold it personally accountable.
Here's a specific power of attorney. Know all men by these presents that the undersigned, Letitia A. James, does hereby constitute and appoint her niece, Miss Thompson Hairston, of the city of Norfolk, state of Virginia, as her attorney in fact, for her in name, place, and stead, to undertake and do all acts necessary to complete the purchase of this Norfolk, Virginia property. Execution of the deed of trust in a loan amount not to exceed $225,000. Execution of Real Estate Settlement Procedures Acts forms. Execution of the note. Execution of a purchase agreement and addendums. Now here's the declaration. This is what Letitia James is signing, y'all. I hereby declare that I intend to occupy this property as my principal residence. All right. So Letitia James signed on page 2. Letitia A. James, State of New York, County of New York, or City of New York. And then down here you have Ms. Parchmal and you have Ms. Levy. Okay. Their signatures. So they witnessed. Now let's look at what they signed to. Okay. On the date last above written, declared to us, the undersigned, that the foregoing instrument was her specific power of attorney and requested us to act as witnesses to it. Okay. So they're saying we are witnessing this, that to the best of our knowledge, Letitia A. James was of 18 years or older. Okay. So they're signing that she's over 18, of sound mind. So they're signing that we have no reason to believe she has any mental defects right now, and under no constraint or undue influence. Okay. Same thing. Letitia A. James thereupon signed this specific power of attorney in our presence, all of us being present at the same time. We now, at her request, in her presence and in the presence of each other, subscribe our names as witnesses. So they do declare. We declare under perjury. We declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. So they're only declaring here that Letitia James signed, that she's over 18, that she's of sound mind, etc. They're not declaring that everything else in this document is true. Now, I don't think that gets them out of being potentially interviewed or maybe called as witnesses against her in her trial. It just means that they themselves would not necessarily be in any trouble for having been a witness to this document. But could they still be subpoenaed? Probably. Could they still be forced to testify about what happened? Probably. So I think that this means that Letitia James's own staffers could be called as witnesses against her and forced to throw her under the bus. I mean, not throw her under the bus really, because this whole case is about her and her actions, but they could be forced to testify against her. So y'all, I would say that this is huge. I would say that this is monumentally huge because, again, Letitia James apparently used her own staff while committing a fraudulent act. I'm only saying apparently because that's what it appears to me, but I'm not saying she did that. And y'all, you may be surprised to learn that Antar has documented many acts that he alleges, that he affirms, that he says are mortgage fraud. She being Letitia James, even on a document claimed to be married to her father. Okay. I'm going to shoot right into that report as well for those of you who either haven't heard about it or you want to be reminded or you just want to get back. You just want to go deeper into this Letitia James rabbit hole. Now, as you can see on your screen, this ex post from the Gateway Pundit says red flags in Letitia James' handling of her father's estate demands another investigation. So let's take a look at what the article says. Here it says Letitia James, the New York State Attorney General, has presented herself as a champion of legal integrity. I'm sure we all know that. Letitia James, if there is a high horse, she certainly is sitting atop of it. Yet documents filed under oath in her late father's estate proceedings in 1999 appear to present legal problems for James involving property law, mortgage representations, and taxation requirements. James's father, Robert James, died January 15, 1986. 13 years later, in 1999, 13 years later, James filed a petition in Queens Surrogate's Court seeking to administer his estate. All right, so there are some pictures of the estate. Now, here's the issue, y'all. If you remember previously on the original mortgage documents for this property, James and her father are listed as husband and wife. Husband and wife has a certain type of property rights, okay? That property right is called joint tenancy. So because they were declared husband and wife, according to the mortgage documents, there would be a joint tenancy, which would pass ownership directly to the surviving party, such as a spouse. But when she went and filed the probate documents, she attested that it was tenancy in common, which requires probate court to transfer the deceased's share. Now, why would she do this? Why would she go to probate court and declare that this was tenancy in common? And if she had just stuck with the I'm married to my father thing, then she wouldn't have to go to probate court. So why would she go to probate court unnecessarily? Would it be to maybe undo the misrepresentation on the original document? That's one angle, right? I mean, if you know that you and your father had said you were married on a document, and now it's time to maybe sell the house, put it up for sale, transfer it to somebody else, and you say, oh yeah, we said we were married back then in order to get whatever favorable conditions you could get at that time. Man, let me go to probate court, claim now that it is tenants in common, which it wasn't on the original document, apparently, right? So that I can undo that and now sell the house without causing some kind of issue, because now the court order will override everything. That's a thought, y'all. But here the Gateway Pundit says it may also have to do with some tax filings, some tax benefits, or other benefits that she may have gotten. This is a newly open angle in all of this, and I'm pretty sure if it goes like the other investigations, it will continue to develop as we go. So for now, I think it's enough for you to know that she originally said she was married to her father on the documents. It appears that the documents were issued in the type of husband and wife property ownership. Then she later, when her father passed, 13 years later, apparently, maybe she was ready to sell the house. And she's like, oh man, maybe I should try to fix that so that there won't be any issues transferring this property to somebody else, because I'm not actually married. But maybe somebody would say, oh yeah, we're going to need the death certificate, right? From the father. And he'd be like, oh, I'm not listed as his wife. What if they look into this? So you go to the probate court, you get everything switched around, you get the stamp from the judge, and now you're clear. I'm just kind of coming off the top of the head with this, y'all. The facts of all of this remain the same. Apparently, they call themselves husband and wife. He passes away. She later has to go to probate court to get all that changed. So, I previously said, hey, Letitia James, unlike Fonnie Willis, Letitia James is squeaky clean. That's why she's going after Trump.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe, be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.